day, Roseanne. I've been chosen to talk about a bit of Earth and Beyond, and specifically the topic, the solar system. We chose this topic as we thought this would be a great way for learners to relate to the different movies and the different video games that they play every single day in relation to space. So, for example, movies like Star Wars and video games like Man's Sky, where they can actually relate their playtime with their learning time. This is also great for learners who are visual learners, as a model has been made. This model will show the learners about how things are actually set up there and how everything looks. And adding on to that, this will also help the learners when it comes to writing their assessments, so that they can actually remember that the sun is actually here and the planets are around and the planets orbit the sun and so on and so forth, which might actually assist them with doing better in their assessments. This also then introduces authentic learning, as learners can relate to their real life, such as their playtime, to learning content in the classroom, which will make it more easier for them and more fun for them. And as teachers make models and show learners pictures, they can become more excited, and especially models, because at least learners can touch and feel, and through these things learners can then remember when it comes to when needing to answer questions for formal assessments. To speak about how the model was constructed, Robin will do.
Good afternoon, Roseanne. This is how we constructed our solar system. So we have 3 pieces of the wooden board that we screwed together here on top as well as at the bottom. We spray painted it black, but obviously the learners can use whatever they have at hand. And we used some white paint to splash onto the background so that it looks like the galaxy, along with some silver and gold stars. On the top piece of the board, we cut out a circle so that the solar system structure can go inside. This is the solar system. So we've used ice cream sticks and created a circle and spray painted that as well. We painted the solar system balls, the planets, according to the colors that they are in the solar system, and attached it with fishing line and a paper clip. Then we'll put this in the center. And that way it can move as well.
When teaching the solar system, it would be best to have a live model of it for the class, because it helps learners visualize the content in the textbook. Presentation for the learners, it sparks an interest because they want to interact with the model and like move it around, just to get a good representation of the solar system for themselves. This model assists visual and kinesthetic learners because it provides a tangible and dynamic representation, enhancing comprehension and engagement in the learning process. This helps learners grasp spatial relationships, sizes, and distances. As you can see, our model, we have an accurate representation of the solar system, as we have Mercury right at the top, closest to the Sun, followed by Venus, Earth, and then Mars, and it goes in that same direction until you reach Neptune. The model helps learners visualize the textbook, and if you kept the model in your class, they'd be able to always look back at it and remember the work that would be in their exams.
When moving on to the teaching and learning phase, the teachers will focus more on the content and concepts that is stated in the CAPS document. Using the model, the teacher will show the learners the sun and show the learners that it is at the center of the solar system, and explain to learners that this is the biggest star. The learners will need to understand that the sun is it isn't just an energy source, it doesn't only just provide light. The teachers will then go on to explain that there are 8 planets, including the asteroid belt. The teacher will show the learners using the model, so learners are able to get a visual representation.
A very important piece of information that learners need to understand is that all planets orbit around the Sun. As an engaging activity for the learners, the teacher can invite learners to the front of the class. Each learner can represent a planet, and one learner can be the sun, and the rest of the learners can be the planets. The learner that is the sun can stand in the middle, and all the other learners that are planets can go around the sun. This engaging activity can give learners an idea of how planets orbit around the sun. This is an easy way for learners to understand that as planets orbit around the sun, a year passes. Each planet has a different number of days to orbit the sun, and the one we live in, Earth, orbits the sun every 365 days.
As a start, the teacher may want to discuss Earth first, as learners will be able to relate to Earth easier. An easy way to do this is to ask learners questions about what they see on Earth as they observe around them. Is the Earth rocky? Does it have gas? Learners can get into groups and have their own discussions about this and can present their own observation about the Earth. This can be a first activity. After this, the teacher can move on to discuss other planets and other different features. As an activity, learners can write a poem of their own choice about the planet that they choose and its features, and each learner can recite their poem for the class. To close the lesson, the teacher can round it up by doing a Kahoot just to refresh the learners' memories. This Kahoot will be based on the features of the planet and will be a great way for learners to be reminded of what has been learned on the lesson.